Naperville, Connecticut, I find driving road cars on racetracks worth it to read. Actually, I love driving road cars on racetracks. Although it's fun and good to understand how a vehicle behaves on the limit, running over a track provides little real-world driving info on the car you want. That said, I always do my advisable to cover both nutball and grandma driving. My first impression with the 2018 Audi RS3 came when I jumped into one on pit lane with the Lime Rock Park racetrack. I found myself sandwiched between two other RS3s. We were watching to accomplish a lead flow session about the track since most from the journalists present had not witnessed the track before, much less driven about it. I have raced at Lime Rock numerous times in the past and it can certainly catch you if you get overly enthusiastic, so applying a lead flow session was obviously a good idea. The three of people in RS3s were to follow an Audi R8 V10 Plus driven by Stefan Rail, Audi's head of technical development. Thoughts with this not being a great fight begun to produce. I quickly jolted myself returning to reality. We're testing cars for automobile here, Pilgrim. Your future race is within Portugal, not only at Lime Rock, so leave the R8 alone. Yes, naturally. How silly of me. Here's some relevant information many enthusiasts know. Most street cars, performance-oriented, will understeer with the limit of grip in the turn. This is true for track and street. Companies dial in understeer coming from all street cars for safety reasons, which is easier to control. Just lift off of the gas and also the vehicle usually comes home in line. In my experience, the setup to get a street car on the track usually means that doing what you can so that it from understeering all the way to grandma's house. This involves cheating the rear with the around corners, because generally, top can't accomplish it. I always strive to be able to manipulate a corner of any car to be able to enjoy the drive street or go faster track. We were in control in no time. Rail hasn't been hanging around, as well as the RS3 was responding nicely. I used the lightest steering weight, comfort mode, as our apartment to have light hand inputs no death grip. Our on-track cars had the optional 14.6-inch ceramic front brakes and larger 25,530 19-inch front tires. The base setup is 235/35 R19s around. During our laps I would drop back from your vehicle in front so that you can give myself enough room to push the vehicle to the limit. Immediately obvious from your first lap, the RS3's chassis setup is consistent and compliant despite it located on the stiffest setup, dynamic mode. I could comfortably rotate the vehicle on corner entry without them feeling snappy. This capability to control the rotation and effectively eliminate understeer allowed me to cart serious corner speeds. In fact, after just a few laps I was confidently kicking out a corner end on every corner. I could even make this happen entering ab muscles fast and bumpy downhill right-hander onto the top straight. The RS was willing to hold a good slip angle not drifting and in many cases allowed me to the slip angle mid-turn if I required to. I left the automobile in full dynamic mode, and I didn't switch away from the stability control. After just 3 laps, that's all we have, I can confidently report that the RS3 will be a good partner for producing passengers either laugh their butts off or vomit in pretty short order. It's a whole lot of fun. The engine within the RS3 is watchy to rock whenever you step for the gas. The all-new 2.5-liter turbofan kicks out 400 horsepower between 5,850 and 7,000 revolutions per minute and 354 pound-feet of torque between 1,700 and 5,850 revolutions per minute. Audi says 3.9 seconds 0 to 60 miles per hour. I say nuts, it feels quicker. The engine sounds great using the ripping roar unique to 5-cylinder turbos. It is especially sweet using the sport exhaust option. I would never buy this car without them. Fuel economy estimates are 19 miles per gallon city, 28 miles per gallon highway. Front engine, all-wheel drive cars are invariably heavy within the nose, so taking any weight from the nose is a superb thing. The new engine is 57 pounds lighter compared to last generation version and is also probably a measurable contributor on the RS3's handling ability. The gearbox is often a smooth, quick-shifting double-clutch S-tronic 7-speed. I started my RS3 street drive through the Lime Rock track parking area. At pedestrian speed I felt some serious support in the suspension and chose to stop to evaluate which the settings were. It ended up I was yet again in dynamic mode, a similar setting we applied to the track, where it felt compliant. Now, it felt plenty sporty. This is the thing that I meant from the racetrack, usually not as being a good indicator of that the car feels all the time. I ultimately found comfort mode, the softest setting, for being my favorite on the highway around Lime Rock. I could carve corners in a pace way below the RS3's capabilities while still sporting an rear grin. There only agreed to be one time, when I discovered a flock of 40-plus geese over the road around a blind bend, the spot that the RS3 were required to get out of bed to react. It managed it with zero drama. Not one bird was touched. We are able to thank the brakes to the. Whether you keep with steel or select the ceramic option, the brakes are superb and stability control is highly. Great brakes really are a must once you have such a ripping engine, as being the RS3 builds serious speed quite quickly. I am not much of a fan in the technology packages generally in most modern cars. I stop the automobile when I must figure things out. I believe operating infotainment systems is quite distracting, whether by voice, touch, or sight. With all my attention focused onto it, I found the Audi system reasonably intuitive and simple to use. I do like the chance to make individual adjustments for steering weight, suspension, differential, and gearbox. The navigation was preset for all of us and performed flawlessly with a nice backroad route. The seats provided excellent support about the racetrack and at work. The interior looks high-end for me, and also the control layout is sensible. As usual with vehicles nowadays, the controls has too much stuff into it for my tastes. I would look at the option for nothing on the steering wheel whenever. Of course, nobody will give you that choice. I've always liked fast four-door sedans. They usually perform inside a way belied by their looks, unexpected, maybe. The RS3 carries a new front fascia, rear bumper, and diffuser yet still looks subtle for me. It may not scream for attention, nevertheless it certainly is for you. I fight to think of something will actually compete with all the RS3. I heard people dealing with the Cadillac ATS-V and BMW M3, but you are between $5,000 and $10,000 higher priced and are slower from the line, even when they can be a little bigger. The 2018 RS3's base costs are $55,875. A limited quantity of 2017 models arrived within the U.S. using a slightly price reduction of $55,450, but those examples can be bought. I would add the $1,000 sport exhaust, and that's about this. I'm undecided how many RS3s could eventually come for the U.S. market, but I suspect may well be enough. A sub 4 second 0 to 60 time will embarrass plenty of very expensive hardware. This is one fun 4-door 2018 Audi RS3 specifications. Price $55,875 base. Engine 2.5 liters turbo-dock 20-valve i50 400 HP at 5,8507,000 revolutions per minute, 354 lb-ft at 1,7005,850 revolutions per minute. Transmission 7-speed dual-clutch automatic. Layout 4-door, 5-passenger, front-engine AWD sedan. EPA mileage 1,928 miles per gallon city hui. LXWXH 176.3 by 77.2 by 55.0 inches, wheelbase 103.6 inches, weight 3,593 pounds, 060 miles per hour, 3.9 seconds, top speed 155 miles per hour 174 miles per hour with optional Dynamic Plus package.